Hey, what's up everybody? I just wanted to come on and make a brief video commemorating 15 years of the Benner Lego channel. Obviously that's a huge milestone. 15, 10 was obviously the most important so far, but 15 is also huge. I didn't do one for 5, but hey, I've done every year since 6. And I don't know if I'll do any more of them. We'll just kind of see. I think after a certain point, you kind of get it. But 15, I even debated whether to do one this year, but I figured 15 is big enough that, yeah, I'll come on and just talk about it and kind of reminisce. I probably have said all this stuff in the past videos, but it's alright. I have more subscribers than I did before, so hey, there's always going to be new people, I guess. Even though I haven't done much, which we'll get onto a little bit, but so 15 years, and it's one of those things where, because I've been watching YouTube for longer than that, it would go back to about, because I grew up with Windows 98 and dial-up. You couldn't watch YouTube on that. But in 2008 is when we moved on to broadband and newer computers. And basically just at that point was when I started watching YouTube. And, like my sister's channel was made at that time. And I just looked at it and it said September 14th of 2008. So that's basically exactly when I started watching YouTube videos myself. So that's just when the recession happened in 2008. So it's a long goddamn time ago now. And even for my own channel, this channel is from the 2000s. Just barely, but it is. I would have made it a lot sooner in that year if I had a camera. I just didn't. But then my uncle for Christmas got me this camera, and unfortunately it does not work any longer because of this. But I got on with making videos. And if you go back and look, unfortunately not all of the videos that I made in the early years are up still. I don't know how many are gone because some of them I deleted a long time ago, like well over a decade ago. But there were more. But in about 40 days from now, it will be 10 years since I came back after multiple hiatuses and took things kind of seriously and made videos regularly starting in early 2015, and then basically continued on until recently. And YouTube has changed a lot, the internet has changed a lot, the world has changed a lot, and it's crazy to go back, because my videos have always kind of been the same. I haven't evolved much, but it's when you go back to the original stuff, it is a time capsule. It really is, especially for me to look back at it. It's just a piece of history that's gone now. It's just not a thing anymore. Obviously there are plenty of Lego channels out there still, but the scene has moved on from what it was, obviously. And just YouTube in general has moved on. And I've enjoyed the last 15 years of making videos, and it's been a great journey overall. I've obviously made over 1,000 videos, and I've basically covered everything I wanted to cover, and that's kind of where I'm at. Is I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that I don't really make videos anymore. It's just, I would say the one that I pin it to most realistically is just burnout, and just the fact that YouTube is so different now. Those are the two that go hand in hand and really kicking me off from making videos, because it's been like a gradual kind of waning away, because I think this year I think this is the only year that I've made less videos than this would be 2011, I think, because I made one video that year. I think I made like 4 this year or something like that. So that's obviously, it's it's not the same. YouTube is not the same at all anymore. The internet's not. Everything's all this TikTok kind of stuff that I just consider to be junk. I've always, as I've gone on, I've veered longer and longer with my videos, and I don't know, that's just the way I am. I ramble, I rant. I always have. I used to be able to keep it a little more concise, though, or at least kind of break it up into chunks. Like, break it up into multiple videos, but yeah, and YouTube, it's just, I wish I liked it more, but it's just so commercial and just this, it's this vicious environment where half the time you look in your fucking recommended videos and it's just this crap of people going after each other, because they're all scumbags, of course. Like the satisfying downfall of this and that. It's like, man, it's just, I don't know why you'd want anything to do with it unless you're just fucking online 24/7. Which a lot of people are, obviously. And it's just because, you know, you have your freaking phone all the time now, so everybody's just all day long. Because, like, that's one of the big shifts in our time, is, like, when I made my channel, you know, the newest iPhone was, like, the 3GS. Like, it was the first one that even had video recording. Didn't have a front-facing camera. Selfies weren't a thing. FaceTime wasn't a thing. You know, Twitter was brand new. Facebook was popping off. MySpace was on the wane. Flickr was still huge. And YouTube was still YouTube broadcast yourself, you know, with the 5-star ratings, video responses, all that sort of stuff. Friends system, where you could customize your profile, all that stuff. That was the YouTube that I started out in, the internet that I started out in, where if you wanted to use YouTube, basically, unless you had that crappy app on the iPod that didn't have many functions, you sat at a computer. And I don't know, it was just such a simpler scene back then in the late 2000s, early 2010s even. Because, like, and that's something, I always see people talking, like, that joined around the same time that I did, that they're part of, like, the first generation. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we are solid, like, anybody that's at my point, this is second generation YouTube. First generation is, like, 2005 to maybe early 2009. I would say more late 2008, though, before HD video, before gaming, like, commentaries became big. That's still, I think that's where the breaking point came, was, like, early 2009, and that's when a lot of, like, the old YouTube scene kind of went away onto Facebook and all that. The early guys. I mean, some stuck around, but it shifted. It shifted in 2009. But then, I don't even know when, I mean, it was gradual. But by the time you get to, like, 2014, 15, there's another shift into, like, a third generation. And I don't know what gen we're on now, like fucking 5 or 6. In the Shorts era, which is obviously pretty bad. And the site is run like crap. I mean, I have a lot of problems with the way the site's run. Things are just so fickle. Where you get strikes on your channel that were obviously not done by a human, and you try to appeal the strikes, and a second later, it's your appeal is denied. It's like, I know a human didn't look at that. So it makes me reluctant. And I think I said all this last year too. It's like, yeah, I don't want to play with these stupid games. And, you know, people have tried to make YouTube alternatives in the last, I mean, it's been, I'm trying to think back, because, like, there was Zipcast, that shut down, like, almost 9 years ago, I think, like 2016. That fizzled out, never really went anywhere. And it's funny too, because I used to talk about Zipcast, about how I might have switched over, and then it shut down, like, right after that. And I ended up actually talking to one of the guys that worked on Zipcast a couple years later, and I'll just say that it's obvious why it didn't work out. I'll just leave it at that. And then there was Vidly that came out, which is like old YouTube, but then it got overrun by a bunch of fascist types, just complete trash people. And that site was huge with redirecting to, like, viruses and all that, and the ads were really invasive and all, so I didn't get into that one. either. There is no replacement for YouTube. I know there are like invite communities like Oasis, but those are a little too walled off for me. But yeah, we're at a spot where there isn't really anything like what YouTube was even a decade ago. I don't really think that there is. I think it's changed a lot, and I haven't changed with it, I guess I could say. I mean, I don't know. I don't really do anything on the internet, to be perfectly honest. I don't have like anything at all. And that's not really a bad thing, I have to say, but but I mean, I'm thinking I'm going to make a couple videos here in the next few months. But we'll just kind of have to see how things go. I mean, part of it has just been stuff going on in my own life that has either just taken up my time or prevented me from making a video or whatever. But yeah, because this 2024 has been, especially this last few months, it's just been shit. Yeah, so what 2025 will bring, I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see. But, I do have a couple things that I might hop on and talk about or show. But, in the time until then, we have reached 15 years in a rather strong journey, I would say. Obviously, I don't have many subscribers. I'm perfectly okay with that. I would prefer to stay small just because it's less bother. Other than the occasional help type vids that I make, I'm just so all over the place that it would be hard to build anything, and that's kind of always been not the point, but that's been something that I've been very well aware of, especially ever since I came back. Like, obviously being young, I was like, yeah, I want subscribers, but when I came back to YouTube full time in 2015, yeah, I didn't care. By then it was a foregone conclusion that I would never really build much. And but hey, I mean, I've had fun with it. I've met some really cool people on here. I'm glad to have done all that. But yeah, it's been crazy. I guess this is 1017. This video, that's the number. So I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to get on here. Unfortunately, I had to make the video later in the day than I expected, so I'm out of energy. But that's how the whole thing is, guys. I'm just at 15 years. I'm like, so yep. I know some people too. I've gotten comments from some people that said they weren't even alive when I made my first video, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, I've done it for overwhelming majority of my life, so. But yeah, it's a weird thought. But there's kids that are. I mean, I think you have to be 13 still. In reality, like, that's what they say, is you have to be 13 to have a YouTube account. So if someone's 13 now, they were born in like 2011. So, I know my chair is creaking like crazy. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely getting tired when I'm making this. So, in any event, thanks everybody for the support over the last 15 years. If you want to pop in the comments and say hello, I would appreciate that. And, just see who's watching. So, 15 years, and I'll see you guys next year.